What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Cookie DAO today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. It is the 8th day of September, and here we are with less than an hour left in the day, up 11.4% on the day. And that's nice to see. The move that we've had today so far is enough to validate that this is the low and invalidate my lower targets. It absolutely is. And as we've been saying really over this past week, I expect the price to go lower, but I accept that I could be wrong. This very well could have been the low. It's completely possible that it is. The main reason why we expect that Cookie DAO is going to go lower is just by the way of the fibs, but we've addressed how Cookie has just largely disrespected its fib levels. Like the next fib level would be 10 cents or lower, 10 to 8.5 cents. But just because the fibs are down there doesn't mean we have to go down there. Most charts, I would think that's the case, but with Cookie, this thing just disregards its fibs left and right. It doesn't really seem to care. What we were looking at the end of the last video that I made on Cookie DAO was that this week here, coming down like this, very bearish candle down with a bullish doji candle at the bottom, you typically do get, and I said it at the end, you typically get a very bullish body at the end. So what it would take to validate this low for me would be prices basically right at this level or higher, anything here. But the stipulation there is that we have to close the week here. Closing today here is good, but I said that exact thing yesterday. I said if we close days here, it doesn't matter. I want the week to close here or higher. If we can engulf that, if we can close above that weekly open there, I mean, I don't care, man. We're going to call it. We get a couple days in a row to close above that. Perhaps then I'll start, even before the end of this week, perhaps then I will start to come around to it. I'm sticking with the idea. I want to be very clear. I'm sticking with the idea that we do have lower to go. Okay? I'm sticking with that idea. I haven't seen enough yet. But yesterday you said if we got here that would invalidate it. Yes, I did, but only if on a weekly time frame we close. We got 6 days left. It's a bit preemptive to call that now. 6 days. We did this in 1 day. What could we do in 6 days? You know what I mean? We could definitely come the other direction. I very much believe in Cookie DAO, and I very much believe that it's going to continue to grow. But could we not drop a little bit more first? There's a lot of altcoins that I believe have found their lows. Cookie DAO could be one of them. I could be wrong. I've been saying this a lot, right? I could be wrong. I have been saying this is why we don't sell down here even if we expect lower prices, because the amount of downside that we're projecting is insignificant compared to the amount of upside that we have, right? This is insignificant. This isn't even the full upside. This isn't even the full upside. We got more. You know what I mean? This is insignificant compared to what we got here. So, don't let me stop you from buying. Certainly do not sell, right? Not the right time to do that. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Let's look at the short-term stuff. Actually, before we do that, I do want to look at the ribbon. Okay, I think the ribbon might be helpful. Overall, right now, the ribbon is bearish. Okay, on the daily time frame, the ribbon is bearish. Let's look at the 4-hour. I feel like Cookie's 4 hours been kind of helpful, hasn't it? We did cross bullish. That's nice. Typically on these crosses, we do come back down to touch. Let's just see, right? We had a cross here, and as soon as we crossed, that was the low. We came back up, right? And then we actually went through the ribbon here. Whenever we crossed bullish here, notice how we moved up. Actually, we didn't cross bullish until right here. We were basically at the high. Then we came back into the ribbon, grew. Inevitably, we went lower, but again, back tested it. Whenever we crossed bearish here, we were basically at the lows. We came back to touch the ribbon, and then we went lower. Do you see the trend that I'm talking about here? We crossed the ribbon bullish here. We grew a lot, and inevitably came back down to the ribbon. But that's kind of a one-off from what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at here is that the fact that we just crossed bullish, to me, doesn't mean that we have to move down this hour, this instant. But soon enough, I would think that we come back to the ribbon, at least come back to it. So depending on what we do, we might be looking to validate this low. We might be looking to give it back. If we come back down here to about 12.6 cents, 12.3 cents, somewhere in that area, and we bounce, bullish. If we get a reaction like that, bullish, you guys, very bullish. Might not even be the end of the week, and I might start calling this low. We come back down here, we start closing below the ribbon, we get it to cross back down, you know what it is, right? It's bearish. We've had these false crosses before, and they didn't last long, so we'll see. There's a lot of time left in this week. Daily time frame, we've done this before where we get into the ribbon like this. Maybe we go up a little higher. You could go up to like 14.5, 15 cents, and then you come down, right? That could happen. So the daily ribbon overall is bearish, but it's not like dramatically bearish right now. We got a nice like fanning of the ribbon. It is pretty bearish in all fairness, but that doesn't mean we can't flip it from here. But I would expect that we don't just run up and don't have any kind of reconciliation. If we come up, we'll probably come back down, find support, look to flip it, and then we'll run up. It's not like we're just making this move now. So even if we don't time the low perfectly, we will still catch most of this move, right? Weekly time frame here. You're looking at, should we look at the 3-day? Let's look at the 3-day. We'll zoom it out from there, right? 3-day looks bearish, but you could come up to the ribbon, find some resistance there, and that's at about 15 cents, and then come down, right? We got a day and 1 hour left in that there. Weekly time frame, very bullish on the weekly ribbon. And as far as the weekly ribbon goes, this absolutely is suitable for a low. So I mean that's all that we need to see. Overall, the weekly ribbon is very, very bullish. We're contracting. That's nice to see. Once we do get above about 16 cents on a weekly closing basis, we should be seeing this thing skyrocket. It should be a very phenomenal move that we get. Anyways, Cookie DAO here, looking at the 1 hour time frame. Let's see if we can prove or disprove anything that I've theorized so far. Right, looking at this here, it's a lot of volume. That was a lot of volume there, and we're on Bybit, one of the higher exchanges. Since we're on the 1 hour time frame, let's look at you on Binance. Okay. I feel like my charts have been slow. Oh, nice. It wasn't too slow. Yeah, a lot of volume there. Not a lot of volume on this move here. It makes me think we're probably going to come down. Yeah, I bet we have bearish divergence too. Yeah. Bearish divergence on the 1 hour RSI and the stochastics and the MACD. Who would have guessed? A lot of volume at the top, and it was on the selling candle. Not a lot of volume on this continuation candle. That tells me and tells you one thing. It means this is probably coming to an end, and that's okay. When I say it's coming to an end, does that mean that we're going lower than this low? No. I think we're going lower than this low, but that's not because of what's going on here. This just tells us that we're done growing right now. So what we do next will tell us if we're going lower than this low. If we come down here and we find support at prior resistance and we're back up here, well, maybe that's the low. If we come down here, we dilly-dally, we come back up and we find resistance at the support area, well, then we might go lower. We might break this trend line. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot going on. Just because we break the trend line doesn't mean we go below that low. Oftentimes when you break these trend lines, that's actually whenever you find support and you move higher. Time will tell. We'll see how it goes. But at the moment, I would think we take a break. That's what I'm getting at. So overall, right now, for the hours to come, probably to start off tomorrow, the 9th of September, it's probably going to be a bearish day. But well, not a bearish day just to start off. Maybe we start off bearish and then we end bullish. It's the 1 hour time frame. Okay, 12 hours from now, you could have resolution of these bearish implications, cool off a little bit, and then for the end of the day, you could come back up. Absolutely, from here, 13.5 cents. Tomorrow we could be at 15 cents. You don't know. And then for the rest of the week we could come back down to prices that are back down around 12 cents or lower. Time will tell. And I'll be walking you through it, holding your hand. We're probably going to make videos on Cookie DAO every day again now, right? I know I've been making videos like every 2 or 3 days for Cookie DAO. It's been a little bit more sparse, but now that we're in this kind of crunch time across the markets, I'm going to start. And that's kind of how I've been, right? I've been making videos, I feel like, whenever it's more relevant. We made a lot of videos throughout this whole range because I personally did not expect that we'd be moving down this much. I thought that we'd be moving up, but really throughout this range, that's whenever we started getting more sparse because it's become more obvious that we're going to move lower. Here I made videos pretty regularly, then it was sparse, and then once we hit the low to here, I was making videos every damn day. We're doing it again, man. We're probably going to be making videos every damn day. I still do expect that we're going to go lower, but let's get into the 4 hour time frame. The 1 hour undeniably looks bullish, but momentarily looks like it wants to take a break. So take a break. That's okay. Looking at the 4 hour RSI, perfect. It looks beautiful. It really, I mean, you see it, right? This is the strongest readings that we've seen in such a long time, you guys, since July. That's the strongest reading on your 4 hour RSI that you've seen since July. That's crazy. Crazy stuff. Good volume. Nothing too crazy, but good volume. Definitely good volume. Stochastics look good, and the MACD looks good. You're crossing above the zero. All good things. Does it persist is the question, right? That really is the question. And in all fairness, for how much volume you're getting, these are not like voluptuous candles. They're not very robust. It's half of that candle there with all that volume is a wick. This candle here is not really continuing that much, is it? That's not necessarily a good thing. It looks like you're breaking out, right? But really it's just a lower high throughout this whole range down. I wonder if we take a relative, let's take a relative low to high. I want to do this one. We'll take a high to low in a second, but I want that low to high here. I mean, in all fairness, you're right in this. How many times, if anybody's watched the channel for like a year or more, you've seen me discuss this exact thing all the time, where you stop in the 1272, 1414, 1618 area, you go up to the 786, 886, and then you come down. It's actually very common. It's absurdly common, actually. And if we keep going, we go up to the golden ratio, things can get exciting, but even if you wick above there, it's not convincing. You have to close above there. And this isn't the most significant fib, but still just doing this kind of reaction, it's pretty common from here to go lower. Let's take the high to low now. Come on. Oh, we're right there. Boom, perfect. High to to low. We are right at this 236 between the 382. Again, we really could go up above 14 cents. Don't get too excited if we do, right? That doesn't mean that I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I don't care. It's not about that anyways. I want to look at one more fib and then we'll move on to the daily time frame. Okay. Low to high here. Low to high. This fib just says you could move higher. Doesn't mean that the low is in, but you can move higher. That's a nice double bottom at the golden ratio. We're up here. Technically, by the way of this fib, I would think that you go just below 15 cents, if not even just above 15 cents. But does it persist? That's the question. If you find resistance here, I'm not convinced. And this is a much more significant fib. I would say getting above 17.2 cents would undeniably convince me the low is in. Like if we close tomorrow above there, it's the low. But if we're here by the end of the week, if we're closing here by the end of the week, I would also be very convinced that we found the low. Okay. Anyways, good looks so far. I'm not really wooed by it. It's nice. It's refreshing. It's good to see a little bit of an uptick. But I hope beyond all hopes that people aren't, the people who were waiting to buy down here. I hope one of two things: either you did buy, or two, I'm hoping that you didn't FOMO today. Okay. There's no sense in FOMOing. There's no sense in chasing anything. You guys, the market is on sale. There's so many things besides Cookie that are great projects that are also on sale. You know what I mean? There's no need to chase something because it's at 11%. But one more thing, if we had another hope that I have, is that if you did FOMO, if you did make the mistake of buying a relative high, and maybe it's not a relative high, maybe we keep going. Maybe we do. I'm being presumptuous here. But if it is a relative high, if we do come down and we go lower, and I'm right, who cares? But if I am right, if you made the wrong decision and FOMO'd the top, and then the price comes down, I hope you make the right decision and hold, right? It's okay to buy the relative high. You'll feel so dumb down here. You'll feel so dumb. And guess what? In a week after that, you'll feel so smart. It won't matter at all. You'll be telling people, man, you should buy this thing. It's at 42 cents. They'll be like, where'd you buy? 13 cents? How did you know? How are you so smart? And you FOMO'd in on an 11% pump day. You're not smart, you're emotional, but you'll feel smart and you'll seem smart. And realistically, Cookie DAO is at a perfect price here. I was actually talking to somebody about this because I was saying in one of my videos, I don't think it's a good time to buy. I think if we wait like about a week or maybe a little bit over a week, those ideal times to buy will be here. But I was also in the same video, I was saying that it's a good time to buy the dip, that if you want to allocate in, it's not a bad time to DCA. He's like, how can it be a good time to buy and we're going lower at the same time? Like what do you mean by that? And I'm like, if you buy here, it's really, relatively speaking, we are at a low point. If we catch 75% of the low point, you don't catch that last 20-25%, whatever, who cares, right? So what I mean by that again is just there's nothing wrong with buying here. There's nothing wrong with buying at this level. If you want to buy at this level, that's fine, but you need to have the conversation with yourself that if we do go lower, if the market does see a little bit of a dip between now and the end of this week and maybe the beginning of next week before the FOMC meeting, you will not panic sell. If you can have that discussion with yourself honestly, then I think you're fine. There's nothing wrong with buying here. Me personally, I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see. I would more happily buy at higher prices because the reality is buying here is a dramatic discount from the relative highs we have, is a dramatic discount from the all-time highs we have. Buying here is not a problem. When I buy here, I'm convinced that the low is in. When I buy here, I'm not. You know what I mean? I'd rather buy when I'm convinced. So if that means I have to buy here or I have to buy here, whatever it is, I don't care. It's still around the lows. It doesn't matter, right? So it's a good time to buy. Don't let me stop you from buying, but not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I still believe that we do go to 8.5 to 10 cents. And that level is based off the fibs. This thing doesn't respect its fibs too much. So, I mean, really it could be anything, but I still do think that we go lower. All in all, my friends, Cookie DAO is in a very, very bullish posturing. I think we have a lot of upside to go. Okay, I'm on the Bybit chart here, so I'm just going to use this one. I'm going to delete the indicators here. I very much believe that we will see new all-time highs. If we're looking at this from a high to a low, the expectation is that we go to about $1.65 to $3.90. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if Cookie DAO was all the way up at like $10 by the end of this year. By the end of this year, I would not be surprised if we were up there. That's insane, right? Some people might think that's absolutely insane. It is insane, but the thing is this is crypto. Insane things happen. Yeah, 50x, 70x, absolutely possible by the end of this year. If not, I would definitely think that we're at least at 390 by the end of this year. That's still insane at like a 30x move. $1.65 or higher by the end of October. That's my expectations. End of October, $1.65 or more. End of year, 390 or more. Okay. And who knows? Maybe it's even higher than that. I think Cookie DAO is going to be one of those coins that it's like a household name in the AI sector for crypto. By the end of this cycle, it's going to be one of those coins that just everybody talks about, everybody knows about, right? It almost was back whenever it was pumping back in like May, June there, but then it took a little bit of a spill, a little bit of a stagnant downturn. But I've got nothing else, you guys. I'm just talking at this point, so I'm gonna end the video there. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Nothing wrong with buying here. I wouldn't, I wouldn't personally buy here, but I already have some Cookie DAO. If I didn't have any Cookie DAO and I wanted some, this is a very cheap price. Okay, in reality, it's a very cheap price. I bought my first Cookie DAO at 23 cents, like somewhere it was like on this week here. It went up a little bit and then it came down. And then it went up and I felt so smart for a second and then it came down. Then we bought more at 8 cents, then we bought more at 11 cents, and we've just been waiting since. There's nothing wrong with buying at 13 cents, right? You're buying dramatically lower than my first allocation in. So, but again, if you buy here, have that conversation with yourself. If I buy here and it takes a lower low, I will not sell. As long as you can confidently say that, then I think there's nothing wrong with that, right? And if you don't buy here and it takes off, also have the conversation with yourself. If I don't make the move now and it takes off, I will not chase. I will say, good job, Cookie DAO investors, and I will look elsewhere for something that hasn't taken off yet. So the worst thing you can do in this kind of opportunistic environment across the board is chase things. There's no need to do that. There's so many opportunities, so much potential everywhere. I've got nothing else, though. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. Bye.